Where's Mr. Lawrence Welk of Hollywood, California? Is he here in our...
Right here.
Would you come over here, sir? Ladies and gentlemen, Lawrence Welk, and certainly a wonderful thrill today to welcome you here to our microphones. Presume you're in town for a short stay, maybe a TV show or two?
Well, I'm going to try to get to see a couple of TV shows.
Tell me this. Ray and I remember years ago when we both did record shows, 15, 16 years ago, and one of the old world transcription library strong points was Lawrence Welk and his orchestra. And you don't seem to have changed much in all that time. I wonder if you could fill us in a little bit on it, Larry.
What?
Well, I mean, it was known then as champagne music, and of course it still is today. Isn't that
Well,
so?
I had piano lessons as a kid, but I didn't have much aptitude for music.
Yeah.
And
when did you take up the accordion, actually?
Never. I never took up the accordion.
You mean it's played by somebody else?
What do you mean?
You fake it, or what?
What do you mean, fake it? Have I got an accordion with me?
Well, no, you don't have one with you.
Fake an accordion.
No, I don't mean now. I mean when you're up there on the stage and when everybody's looking at you and the band is playing.
I don't know
who
what
plays
you
the
mean.
accordion for you?
The only stage I've been up on, as you say, was back home at the Elks Club. We gave a little thing the other night.
Well, understandably modest is Mr. Lawrence Welk, but you certainly had phenomenal success,
Thank
Larry.
you. Well, it went over pretty well, what we did there.
What was that, your TV show or what?
No, it was just for the members of the club. We put on a little party. It's very good. It went over very well. I didn't know
What
how you
about
know about it, though.
Champagne music and all that.
I don't know what you mean. We had the orchestra, the Elks Orchestra, but that's just a piano and a drum and a trumpet.
It wasn't Lawrence Welk?
No, it isn't my orchestra, no. Andy McGill has the orchestra. Andy and Freddie and Sam,
Well, now, aren't you the popular band leader whose music has made everybody sit up and take notice?
Gee, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking
Tell us about the little champagne lady, will you?
You mean the wife?
Well, is she a wife?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. My wife, I could hardly call her the little champagne lady. She stands about 6'2", goes about 300 pounds.
You mean you are not the recording and television star, the prominent band leader, Lawrence
No,
Welk?
I'm Lawrence Welk. I work in a haberdashery.
You're not Lawrence, well, the Lawrence.
I'm Larry Welk, really. And I'm Lawrence, Laurence.
Oh. Well, here again, ladies and gentlemen, and unfortunately we have made rather an error. We thought, looking over the audience cards, that we had Lawrence Welk here in our studio today. Unfortunately, the Lawrence Welk in our audience works in a haberdashery store.
That's right.
And I can only say that we're chagrined beyond words.
Well, I'm very sorry about that. I just came in to watch a show, and you suddenly make me a
Look,
idiot.
it's not your
How
fault.
can I help it if I'm not Lawrence Welk? You know, I am Lawrence Welk.
I know
but I'm
you.
not Lawrence Welk.
You're not the Lawrence Welk.
I'm the Lawrence Welk, as far as I'm
Well, I
concerned.
know, but you're not the one we were thinking of. That's what I mean.
Oh.
No hard feelings.
Okay.
Sorry to have taken all your time up. Every now and then we like to spring a surprise on our studio audience and ask them if they have odd or unusual items, which we call out. If they do, they're in for a group of wonderful prizes. And today we're going to go down into the audience and see if anyone has a Gornickel. Is anybody here?
Hiya, Gornickel.
I wonder if you'd
But
come
I'm
up
going to
on
have it off next Tuesday. The doctor says he wants to get it off.
No, I'm talking about the nickel-plated kind. Would you come up here on our stage, please? We don't have enough lead to get down there to you, sir.
Okay.
And sign our guest book, if you will.
Matthew E. Chair.
Mr. Chair, where are you from, please?
Staten Island, New York.
And how do you happen to be here in a radio studio just off New York's famous Times Square, the crossroads of the world, possessing a Gornickel?
Well...
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Would you? I didn't quite hear.
I don't know. I just wonder how you happen to be here today from Staten Island and sitting in our studio with a Gornickel on you. I mean, we just happen to want to ask that question of our studio audience, not figuring anybody would have one. And you do, huh?
Yes, I do.
What? Have you had it long, or?
Oh, before I went in the Army.
You got it before you went into the
Army.
Armed Forces.
The Armed Forces. Army.
And that was in the Second World War, was it?
It's in the first.
Well, you're older than you look. You certainly don't look as if you're more than 32 or 3, sir.
That's all I am.
Oh, well, that explains it then. But now, getting back to the Gornickel, do you find it comes in handy to carry this with you? I should think if you left it at home, it'd be more use to you.
Well, you never know when you'll need it. That's why I always carry it with me.
Have you ever been asked by a quiz show, master of ceremonies, if you had a Gornickel with you?
No, I never had. This the first time anyone asked, and I was so happy that I had one. I noticed there's another fellow here with a Gornickel, too.
You mean there are 2 people in our audience in one day?
Another fellow raised his hand when you asked if anyone had a Gornickel here.
We can probably go a whole year without having an audience that any member would possess a Gornickel in. And here's one day, and there are 2 of them. I'm
That's right.
See if that gentleman will come up here, okay?
All right.
I also refuse to go out.
Yeah, well, you raised your hand, and that was unfair to us because
Wise guys.
we thought we had
Kind of bring
2.
that out, would you, that I refuse to go out?
He refused to come up on our stage. We're not ashamed of that, sir. A good many people do in the course of a year's time when we ask them for a few minutes of their time to come up and talk with us. But we were successful in finding that one man,
Why
and
did you can it?
he's now gone back to his seat.
Guys keep yakking away there all the time.
Ray, I have our lucky phone call all ready to dial here.
Oh, you're sober-sized today. Well, okay. Let's tear open the envelope.
And our call goes out to Terre Haute, Indiana. Number is...
Number, please.
Terre Haute, Indiana, 238, ring 7. Must be a farmhouse.
Whereabouts, Indiana?
Terre Haute?
Terre Haute, I think. None of my business, but I think you're mispronouncing it.
Haute, Hot. Shoot.
What was the number again in Terre Haute?
I'll have to look again.
Wait a minute, I think I wrote it down.
347, ring 7, I think, isn't it?
Yes, that'll do. All right, I'll put the call through.
Doesn't make any difference, I promise.
Give me the route, Terre Haute, Indiana, please, will you, operator? Newark, Ohio, ring down 3. Cleveland round Derby.
Pronounces it
Up
Terre
through New
Haute.
York, over to New England, down, over at Thank you.
The operator's getting the number in Terre Haute now, and in a very short time we should be... It's ringing. I can hear it ring out there.
Hello?
Hello, is this Terre Haute 347, ring 7?
Yes, it is.
Is this Bob and Ray in New York calling you, sir?
Yes,
You Mr. Granby H. Frompton?
that's right.
Do you live on a farm, Mr. Frompton?
Yes, I do.
That's what we assumed when we saw that ring 7 number there. This is our lucky phone call
Mm-hmm.
from the Bob and Ray Show.
It's the Bob and Ray Show, Alice.
He's telling his wife, Alice, that it's the Bob and Ray Show calling from New York. Well,
I don't know who they are.
she's saying she doesn't know who
She doesn't
they
know
are.
who you fellas are. I don't either.
Well,
What is it all about?
Well, it's a radio program, sir.
A radio show, huh?
We make a lucky phone call. What?
I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
And you were selected from our phone books.
Clambering up for rain.
Fine. You were selected scientifically from our phone list here in New York City
That's fine.
to be called on today's program.
Certainly appreciate you calling.
All right. Good to talk to you, Mr. Frompton.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So we've made another lucky telephone call, this time to Terre Haute.
That was very
Yeah.
good, wasn't it?
Yes. Dr. Hannibal Bugbee is here with us
I'm right here.
today. Yesterday we ran out of time, Han, and I'm sorry that we didn't have a chance to get you up here to our microphone, but we did put you up overnight at the Bob and Ray Hotel. And how are things over there? We always like to check with our guests.
The fleas are flying on this little cur, and I've had some trouble with them.
Well, you're the man with the talking dog. I guess I neglected to say
That's right.
that.
He's right here. Rex. Come here, Rex.
Do you have a
boy.
last name, or is that just his only name, Rex?
It's his only name.
Well, we'll call him Rex, and for the purposes of the interview. He's seated up here on our table. What kind of a dog is this?
It's a combination of a boxer dog and a little bit of English bull in him.
Kind of a mongrel in a way,
Yeah,
huh?
he's a homely thing, as you can see, but it looks vicious, but very, very
They
kind
say that
animal.
type of dog is great with children.
That's right, they are. They're very kind with kids.
How long have you how long have you had this particular dog? This
54 years.
54 years. That's quite old for a dog, isn't it, Dr. Bugbee?
It's the equivalent of
it's 7
a
years.
108-year-old parrot.
Well, figuring that out quickly in my head, that would be a 28, 35, be a 365-year-old man, about.
Yes.
Wouldn't it? Because it's a year to 7 in a dog's life. Where is your home, Dr. Bugbee?
I live over in New Jersey, in Secaucus.
And have you ever trained any other talking dogs like this one? Or
I didn't train him. I
just
met him on the
discovered-
street one day.
and struck up a conversation, I suppose?
No, he put the bite on me for a dime.
Is that so? Well, of course,
And,
he has seen better days since, because I know you've appeared at theaters and places all
we
over.
played the Radio City Music Hall, Roxy. We played the Rivoli.
Rivoli.
Oh, is that how you pronounce it? We've
Yeah.
played all
You've
the
performed. You've taken your performance. You've taken your performance to Europe too, haven't you?
Yes, we played there at the David Garrick Theater in
England?
London.
London, yeah.
He's played at the La Paris Parisienne in.
It's French, isn't it?
No, I think that was in Italy.
Well, I know that you've had a lot of unusual and interesting experiences, and I'm very sorry for yesterday. You're not
He
having
played
time.
at the Old Oak and Bucket. It's a small little nightclub outside of Brussels.
Leominster, Massachusetts, isn't it? But anyway, I'm very glad that you brought the talking dog up here today, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you, Dr. Hannibal Bugbee.
You haven't been talking to me. I'm the dog.
Oh, well, thanks anyway, and good luck on your trip
long.
home. My name is Sherlock Sage. I was sitting in my Baker Street lodgings one cool October afternoon when Dr. Clyde rapped on the door, and I shouted, "Who's there?"
It's me.
Knowing immediately it was Dr. Clyde, I made my way to the door to open it. There, standing before me, was Clyde himself, but looking like he had never looked before.
Great Scott Sage.
Yes. Clyde, what's the matter with you, man?
It's a dreadful thing.
Here, come in out of the cold.
Yes.
Take off your greatcoat.
It's a dreadful thing happened to me, Sage.
No, tell me about it, Clyde. Here, maybe you'd better sit down first. I had never seen Dr. Clyde look as upset as he did this very moment. And as he sat there by the flickering embers of the fire, I could tell that something was preying on his mind.
Oh, Sage, I saw something I hope I never live to see again.
Well, what was it, Clyde?
I was taking a canter through the park just an hour and a half ago.
Yes.
I pulled up short there by the statue to Lord Delson. Well, Mother Duck Sage, what happened then would frighten any human being.
At this point, Dr. Clyde seemed to drift into a sort of stupor. He sat gazing into the fire, saying nothing but breathing heavily. And about a half hour later, he came to enough to say,
Would you have just a spot of port, Sage?
"Yes, I'll get it for you, Clyde."
What I saw today.
Hello, what's this?
What, Sage?
There's not a drop of port left in this decanter, Clyde. It was full this morning. some funny things going on here.
Sage, look. Look there by your collection of ancient firearms.
Yeah,
Look.
what is it, Clyde?
Hanging over the collection. Look. Dust under the scene, so much dust, Sage.
Yes, but in that dust, Clyde, are fingerprints of one who will lead us to the perpetrator of this dastardly crime.
Sage.
Yes, Clyde?
Over here, look out the window. Man standing by the lamppost below.
I've been watching him all afternoon, Clyde. I think we'll find that he has the answer to our problem.
Look, keep staring at this window.
Well, finish this
Well,
today.
Clyde, I don't
that's
know.
all. I'm sorry, actor.
Oh, there were several more pages there.
I was going crazy with the orchestra playing all those little stings in that.
Oh, it sure did.
Boy, that really made the show sting.
Well, we have a Hollywood stuntman with us here in the studio today. Captain Bart, what was the last name? McGran. And Bart, I know we've seen your work in a lot of movies without knowing that it was you. Would you trace some of your unusual career in Hollywood and some of the unusual things you've done?
Well, I've been a stand-in for many of the great stars. Stand-in for the dangerous feats, like falling off a cliff, falling off a horse, falling down stairs.
Your work pretty much is athletic.
Mm-hmm. Getting sacked with the billy club and things like that.
Uh-huh. Do you like this kind of work that you're
Well,
in?
it's always paid me very well.
Well, how much, for instance, would they pay you for falling down a flight of stairs?
$11.
And how many flights would you fall down in one day, say?
Oh, one.
Oh, just one?
Yes, because there's a danger I might break a bone.
Well, I've heard that on a lot of these fight scenes, the furniture is made of easily breakable material. Doesn't
They use
really hurt.
breakaway chairs in many instances that are, arranged so that at the slightest pressure they'll fall apart. However, unfortunately, the movies that I was in, they never used the breakaway furniture. They used the real thing.
Use the real thing for authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice you have your
I
arm
was
in a
hit with
sling
a
like-
heavy oak bench one time, and
What was the result of that?
8 months in the hospital.
I notice your arm is in a sling now. Is that from a movie scene you took part in?
Yes, this is my last big fight scene, and I'd like to show it to you.
We're going to see it on our portable screen here in the studio,
Yes,
huh?
if you'd like to look at it.
Turn the studio lights out, please. Oh, boy. Who's that hiding under the table there in that scene?
That's the star.
Uh-huh. Well, that certainly explains why you have a broken arm there, and I hope you'll be back to work real soon. Get back.
Thank you, and it's been a pleasure always to appear in your show.
We certainly enjoyed Captain Bart McGran's visit today.
So long.
We have a well-known kegler here in our studio with us today.
Hi to everybody. Cornell Breakish speaking.
Cornell Breakish, famed bowler. What's new in bowling?
Well, there isn't very much new in bowling, except, of course, it entirely depends on what kind of pins you try to knock down, whether you use the candle pins or the duck pins.
I see. And what is your particular fort?
I'm best at candle pins and the big balls, whereas, of course, with the duck pins, you use the smaller balls.
Uh-huh. And what's your record score, Cornell?
Oh, I hit 300 fairly regularly.
You do?
I hope to get on TV with it.
Well, I've seen more and more bowling on TV. I understand they're going to have a championship.
The fellows out in Chicago, they go on there all the time bowling.
Yes.
I'd like to get on that show and win something.
Have you bowled ever since you were a young man? We're
No,
not very old now, but...
Well, that's right. I don't know. I started to
how
bowl.
old are you, Cornell?
I'm 46 years old, and we bowl twice a week. It's an industrial league with the Junipers. We Junipers haven't lost a championship in 4 years.
I notice you're wearing a gold watch there on your keychain. Is that a prize? Of some
No,
sort?
it was a Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder if we could have a demonstration of your technique and
all right,
prize-winning form that you've
I've
played.
set up the candle pins to fire into the studio. Now, of course, this floor isn't as level nor as highly waxed
Oh,
as
well,
the
now, wait a
hardwood
minute.
of
Don't
a
start
bowling alley.
talking down our studio.
It's kind of a cheap floor.
Well, just go ahead with your demonstration.
All right. Now, you'll notice with this, I put my thumb here, my forefinger here, and I don't know what you call this finger here. So
Yeah, uh-huh.
And then you just watch.
What happened there, Cornell? Can you tell us?
No, I don't know. It just missed. I'll try again. The floor seems to be leaning.
Well, let's just few places there that...
You see, I put my thumb here, I put my forefinger here, and I don't know what you call this
It'll
finger.
be your
here.
ring finger on your left
All right.
hand, but it's your right hand you use.
Yes. Okay, here I go.
What happened? Would you
I
tell
don't know
us?
where are they going.
Well, you're...
Where do they go, those?
I can't see them.
Well, I only have one more with me, and these are the only three I have.
All right, well, just
I
stand
put
back
your
there.
thumb here, your forefinger here,
And your ring finger if it were your left hand there.
and my ring finger if it was my left hand here.
Uh-huh.
All right, now. Somebody's been opening the door
Somebody's been
down
opening
there.
the door, and the bowling balls have gone right out into the hall. Who knows
Now,
where.
those are the only 3 bowling balls I have. And one of them was a gift from my teammates.
Mhm.
Now, I have to get them back, or I'll sue you and the network, and right up to the top here, right up to General Santa.
We'll simply say,
Get out.
get out, and thanks for your time.
Now, what was that? Play a little game
Well,
with the
I just
audience?
thought maybe we could have a little fun with it. We have an exceptionally large audience here today, albeit a quiet one. And we thought maybe 3 or 4 folks would like to play a little game with us. Do we have 4 volunteers from our studio audience?
All right, I want you, and you. Come on
You
up.
4 right there in the front. Come up. Sit down here now. And what we're going to do is see if we can come up with the lyrics to a song. But it's going to be up to you 4 people to provide the words, you see. Now,
They're all nodding their head.
The first contestant, that lady in number 1 chair there, will give the first line of the song, and then the gentleman next to her a follow-up second line, and so forth. We'll see how it works out, okay? Well, madam, you're first, and I don't think we have to have a subject. You start off with any line.
Well, let me think.
Remember, it should be a love song, maybe, a romantic song.
Well, there are rocks on the road to love.
All right, sir, you.
But the sky above is, but the sky is blue above.
Very good. There are rocks on the road to love, but the sky is blue above. Third
one. So let's go to the movie tonight, baby.
All right, and that's up to the last lady to complete the first chorus here. I think we're doing pretty well.
What time do you want me to meet you?
Oh, I don't want to meet you. All we want now is
No,
the
I'm
fourth.
just writing a line.
Oh, that's your 4th line? It doesn't
Yeah.
rhyme with anything. What was that? What time do you want me to meet you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now let's see what we have. There are rocks on the road to love.
Can we have a little music with that? Well.
There are rocks on the road to love, but the sky is blue above. What's your line, sir?
How about going to the movies tonight, baby?
All right, madam.
And what time do you want me to meet you?
And so we've made 2 more people happy here in our studio audience as they walk arm in arm out of the door. And I don't think they'd ever seen each other before, I think.
No, but interesting enough, one of the big record companies has called.
Oh?
They would like to go ahead and make a pressing of that.
Wonderful.
And we've given them an okay, so you watch your record shop for the Rocks on the Road to Love.
That's it. They're going to try to get Percy Faith to provide the music for it.
And maybe get some big singer. I haven't mentioned anyone in particular to record the song.
Well, this is where songs are born on the Bob and Ray Show. Well, today we thought we would poll the audience and try to find someone who has a worthy cause or a banner that they're carrying for some organization or private institution that could be aired publicly over the nationwide facilities of the Bob and Ray Show. And I think we have just such a gentleman.
Me,
in,
my name.
Yes, what is your...
57 Nelson.
57 Nelson, and where are you from, 57?
I'm from New Jersey.
I've never heard of a 57 Nelson before. That's quite an unusual name.
My father was 56.
Mm-hmm. Your family names you after numbers, in other words.
That's right. I have a sister, 83.
You have a son, 58, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Her name is Ethel.
Well, now, tell me this. You're here to champion a cause that is near and dear to your heart, Mr. Nelson, and we have a few minutes here that you could explain to us what it's all about.
Well, it's all about this terrible expense of putting bridges and tunnels underneath the Hudson River.
Oh, well, of course, there is an expense involved, but it
Why
does
don't-
save money in the long run by
No,
getting from one side to the other. You can either go over
Au
the...
contraire.
What?
Au contraire. I don't think that the people realize that the Hudson River doesn't need a big bridge over it.
Well,
or all
how
the
else
tunnels.
are you going to get from New Jersey to Manhattan or Manhattan to New Jersey unless you either go over it by bridge or under it by tunnel?
Do you realize that the Hudson River isn't even ankle deep? Pair of rubbers you could walk across.
What?
That's a fact, and it's a thing that's been put over on the people for too many years. That's not a deep river.
You mean the water is less than a foot maybe in depth across
You can't
there?
get your feet wet. I walked across this morning.
Well, your feet don't look too bad. A little
Well, I got
muddy.
a shine. I got a little muddy because there's a lot of mud there.
Yeah.
But for all the silly expense of putting bridges and tunnels, I'm against them trying to get the public to realize that the Hudson River isn't deep. They just look at it and figure it's deep. Nobody's gone out to measure it.
Well, I think we brought a case before the public here that
Something
maybe
that should be done.
needed airing, didn't it?
Certainly did.
I wonder if you'd stay around for our grab bag, Mr. Nelson.
I'd
a little
love
bit
to.
later. Hey, we got big news today for all anchovy lovers.
Anchovies, as you know, friends, are small little fish of the herring family, noted for their peculiar flavor, and used for pickling and as a sauce or a canopy.
Anchovies come curled up like little snails, and there was a time when this was considered fashionable and decorative, but not anymore.
No longer should anchovies be served all rolled up in a little ball, friends. Today, anchovies should be served long.
Anchovy strips, we call them. And if you haven't had anchovy strip salad or an anchovy wedge, you haven't really enjoyed anchovies as they should be
Now, if
enjoyed.
you'll bring in camera one, please. You'll see here on the table, friends, a small ironing board together with the new Bob and Ray anchovy ironer.
Now, you can iron your own anchovies right at home there with very little trouble and at practically no expense.
Now, we're going to iron a few anchovies right here in the studio so that you can see for yourself how easy it really is.
Oh, if you can iron a shirt, you'll have no trouble ironing an anchovy. No buttons to iron around, no pleats to be aware of, and nothing to starch.
First, you gently test the iron by wetting your finger and touching it to the bottom of the iron like I did there.
That's a little too hot, isn't
Yeah.
it? Then, taking the anchovy...
See, it's set for wool.
Oh, yeah. Try it on...
I'll have to set it for fish. Wait a minute.
I'll try it.
That's better.
That's better. Now, take the anchovy between your thumb and second finger, place it on the table, put the point of the iron at the base of the anchovy.
Now you gently press the anchovy out, prodding with the point of the iron until flat, like I'm doing here.
Now, that's all there is to it. Lift up the iron, take a sharp knife, and pry the anchovy from the base of the iron onto a plate.
Now, to get this bargain of a lifetime, write to Pressed Flat, New York.
Now, I think Baloo is out somewhere today, isn't he?
Baloo is out at an airport close by to talk with one of the fellows who takes your luggage off the plane and brings it in for you. A little interesting sidelight in travel, and probably it's a little more complicated than the average person would think. So come in, please, Wally Baloo.
What do you feel? Wally Baloo speaking. And we're chatting with Herbie Poltergeist, one of the gentlemen who makes possible the arrival and departure of baggage without a hitch for folks traveling all over the United States and to foreign lands. Herbie, I wonder if you'd come over to our microphone. I know there's a lot of interesting points to your work that we'd like to cover. You want to say hello to anybody?
Hello. We've got it down pretty well now.
Very nice greeting, Herbie. Well, now let's get down to what you actually do here. You just came on duty about 10 minutes ago, and you said there was some important person arriving. Who would that be?
That's right. We expect other than... They'll be pretty well covered by everybody.
I didn't read that anywhere. Is there any news on how long he's going to be here and just what he's going to do when he visits Washington?
Well, I don't know too much except this. He, hardly tell.
Well, it's certainly something to follow up, and I'm sure there'll be some earth-shaking announcements come out of it. I noticed that there was a piece of luggage over here marked danger. Could you tell us what's in that and what you have to do with it?
Yes, there's a set routine you follow when you see... Down through the years, it's always worked out very, very well.
You mean there's one of those in that big trunk over there? What if it should get out?
Well, in that case, of course, we have this emergency phone. I would put in a call, and the gentleman... clear the whole area.
And is it possible that that could happen within the next couple of minutes or so?
Well, I wouldn't want to say. Front for your lives, the thing is out.
A little bit ominous, certainly. And this is Wally Baloo at LaGuardia Field, returning you to...
Thanks, Wally. Nice interview. We'll have to go over that tape again and see if we can
Maybe we
hear a
can
little more of the answers there.
clean it up a little bit. It sounded like there was something exciting happening out there. We were talking about books this morning and mentioning we haven't had a book review from Webley Webster. I guess you've been spending too much time on music, Webb, huh?
Well, I've just read it. Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
Just a book that I
Oh,
just
you do?
read.
You have read a book?
Yeah.
You can give us a short review on, maybe a minute or so?
All right. Where did I find it?
Well, don't you remember the title of it?
No, it's something about snakes. Well, this book,
Your
Bob, is
department.
called... This book, Bob, is called...
Don't you make out your notes there?
There, Snakes and Snake Hunting, and it's by Carl Kosfeld. It's published by Hannibal House, and it was printed out of 5.
Snakes and snake hunting, eh?
Boy, it would scare you.
Well, what did
All
you like?
about boa constrictors and the copperhead.
Copperheads, he said.
Oh, all kind of snakes.
Mhm.
The kind that poison you and the kind that don't poison you.
Garters?
Well,
Garters?
no, thank you.
Well, did you like the book? Is it,
Do I have some
Try
garters,
some.
man?
yes.
Well, at the bookstore. Yes.
You ever had any experiences with snakes yourself?
Oh, yes. I used to unload bananas.
Well, of course, they have become quite prominent lately with the Banana Boat song and everything.
Well, bananas come up, from Central and South America.
Yes, I know.
And, of course, a lot of
You want to talk about it?
Well, sure.
I
If you
get
have
goose
any
pimples when
particular...
I get going on this.
Or what are you going to talk about bananas that give you goose pimples?
Well, because, a lot of times there are snakes in the banana stalks, and they ship them right up, and when you take the bananas off the boat, who's looking at you?
Yeah.
But a boa constrictor.
How about that? I've heard that. A lot of times they kind of almost like stowaways. They're in the...
They entwine themselves around the stalk of bananas.
Yeah.
And their head looks out at you, and boy, I took off.
And you worked unloading these bananas, did you, at one time?
1 year. I'll tell you what I found in 1 year. You want to know.
Well, I suppose so. If it's not too gory, we can go into it.
Well, I collected 3 boa constrictors, 17 tarantulas, a spiny-tailed iguana, 2 scorpions, an owl moth, 3 tree frogs, 10 spotted night snakes, and 1 spotted rat snake.
Boy, that was a shipment, wasn't it?
My hair turned white that year.
I can well imagine. How did you get it back to the original color, incidentally? Maybe we could work into a commercial somehow.
I don't know, Bob. Overnight it came back to
Gee whiz.
regular checkered color.
Well, it really scared you then, Webb, and you gave that up and, of course, went on to literature and radio.
Studied medicine.
It was after that you went to MIT, I think, if I
That's
have your
right.
story right. And then, of course, at the Sorbonne, you studied for some time later.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you very much, Webley Webster. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice hand
Sit down, Webb, will you, fella?
for him. Because he's soft as a
Oh,
grape.
boy, is he wacky, folks.
Well, here's something we think may interest you. Wally Ballou is at an earmuff and mitten factory. See what they're doing during the summertime. So come in, please, Wally Ballou.
This is radio's Wally Ballou at an eastern earmuff and mitten factory. The middle of summer, we thought it might be a little contrast to take our portable radio microphones here.
All right,
Now
that's
he's-
fine. That's okay.
What were you doing with those earmuffs on your head there, sir?
Testing them. I stand in front of a air tunnel, and they blast wind out, and at approximately 12 degrees above zero, and I see if they nip my ears. If
In
they
other
don't,
words,
I pass them.
you simulate winter weather here in the middle
That's
of...
right. We can blow wind, snow, hail, anything through that tunnel.
Sounds like a pretty grueling job. Don't you catch cold quite a lot?
No, I don't really. I guess just I'm used to it. I've been doing it for so many years.
Well, what's the sign of a good earmuff?
One that keeps the cold off your ears so that they won't get nipped by Jack Frost.
You really believe in that?
What do you mean?
That Jack Frost stuff, I mean.
Of course, Jack Frost, if he goes around and lights on your ears...
You mean you really believe there's a
touches you
Jack
with that little wand, you've had it.
You mean when he touches you and the star comes out?
That's right. If he touches you with that wand of his and the star hits your ear, your ear has been nipped.
Well, here's a quaint old custom being
I mean,
revived.
great old custom. Jack Frost, he'll be around. He'll be around come November, December, something like that.
Now, if you found a faulty pair of earmuffs in the production line here, how would you know it? By that I mean, what would make a pair of earmuffs faulty that you'd have to throw them out?
Well, they could be some sort of a mistake in the manufacture. There could be a hole in them. There could be some kind of a stitch that went wrong.
Uh-huh.
And it could be so many things, really.
You ever have any come through that are...
Yes, I've found Jack Frost has found them.
You really believe in that?
I was here just 2 days ago, and Jack Frost found a hole in one of the earmuffs I was trying out, and he nipped me. Right here.
I see. He's got a real good frostbite there.
Yes, sir.
And I suppose the mitten part of your factory is the same
The mitten
thing.
part is the same thing, only we make snowballs with them. Make sure they don't get all hard and crispy afterwards.
Have snowball fights, things like that.
Well,
huh?
not so much that. We have wet slush. We have 4 or 5 testers there who make snowballs and then throw the snow up against the wall, and then we dry them on a radiator. They get crispy, and out they go.
We'd certainly like to talk at greater length with you, but I think our broadcasting time is up for now.
Well, it was nice to talk to you. I think
Well,
it's the
good
first
night.
time we've ever been on the air in here.
Nice to get out of the heat. And now we'll send it back
Are you radio's Wally Ballou?
That's right.
I've heard you plenty.
Going to send it back to Broadcastingdom's Bob.
This is Broadcastingdom's Bob and Ray. Thank you, Wally. Nice interview there. Very interesting. You wouldn't think that something like that was going on.
And now to Coronado, California, Artie Schermerhorn and Wally Ballou. Come in, Wally Ballou and Artie Schermerhorn in Coronado, California.
This is radio's Wally Ballou speaking to you from the deck of the pilot ship, which is helping in the filming of this motion picture, 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The crew is at the far end of the vessel, and so is Artie Schermerhorn with another microphone. I'm going to ask him, if he reads me, to come in and give us a picture from that end of the boat while I get over the side onto the submarine to bring you an on-the-spot description from there.
Hello's broadcasting partner, Artie Schermerhorn here. I think it might be interesting to point out that the cast, of course, have been trained so that the minute they get into the water, filming can begin. They have aqua lungs and so forth, and they have all this heavy undersea equipment. The camera is in an airtight sort of box that will enable them to film this under the sea. It's very quiet on the deck of the pilot ship now, as you probably notice. There's a great deal of... Well, now they're going over...
This is Wally Ballou speaking from my mobile point of view here with my water wings on, and I'm going to talk to one of the men who is responsible for the underwater scenes. We're now about, 15 feet below the surface, sir?
Yes, sir, about 15.
And what is your job in this picture, please?
Well, in this picture, I'm a bad guy. And I come swimming in, and I try to punch one of the good guys.
Uh-huh.
And then one of the other good guys sees me, and then the other good guy comes over after me. And then there's another...
Wait just a minute. I think there's a leak in my diving suit. Yes, water is pouring in. And I'm going to have to surface, I think.
And then another bad guy who's in with me, see?
Uh-huh. Well, I've got to get to the surface as quick as I can because...
Well, let me tell you about this.
Well, I don't have...
Another bad guy, he sees the two good guys coming after
me. What I mean is the suit's half full now.
And then the bad guy comes over.
This is radio's Wally Ballou on the surface again, into the fresh air, just off Coronado, California. Artie Schermerhorn seems to be down at the far end of the pilot ship, so I'll ask him what's new down there, Artie Schermerhorn.
Hello's broadcasting partner, Artie Schermerhorn. Nothing new here. Back to you, Wally boy.
Hello, here with Artie Schermerhorn for the filming of 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Until something else happens, we'll return it to New York, and this is radio's Wally Ballou returning it.
Happy to welcome back to our studio today, after an absence of several weeks, Mr. Clyde L. Hap Whatney, who is the Regional Interbureau Coordinator of Administrative Coordination for the Eastern States and the Midwest. Hap, it's real nice to see you here today. I noticed that you're about to have your shoes shined, so if you'll just pull the microphone over so that you can just go ahead with what you're doing, we'll say...
First of all, Mr. Elliott, I want to thank you, your partner, and your employers here at this great network for making available to me in my office this free radio time.
Well, it certainly is always a pleasure to see you and to give you time to bring us up to date on what's been going on at the office. I presume now, Hap, that, or by now, you have straightened out the trouble with the desks and the payroll. I know that you were covering the payroll yourself for several months. The office staff and field representatives were being paid by you yourself. But
no, that's not true. I wasn't paying them. In fact, they haven't been paid in almost 9 months. And that's why, of course, there's a morale thing there. I get fisheye looks every
Naturally.
time I go into the office in the morning.
Of course.
All these people that I've gone ahead and hired are beginning to look for a little compensation for their efforts.
Looking
I've
askance,
been to,
huh?
what's that?
They're looking askance when you come in.
Yes, and I've been to Washington trying to determine who I should see. I'm not fully up to date on exactly what division we're in down there.
Well, have they been
And,
forwarding directives to you so that you at least have a name, a place to...
No, the only thing I have, of course, is a book of Army regulations.
Mm-hmm.
See, my office handles the New England states, Delaware, and Indiana. And I operate from my main office in Rutland.
Well, they haven't added any more territory to your
No.
already heavy area.
See, Mr. Elliott, my problem is one of guidance. I'm not too sure, as I said, who our immediate supervisor is in Washington.
Well, what have you done to find out, Hap?
Well,
I've heard this
I've
so
called,
many times. You've come up here time and time again. You seem to be floundering, just going along from day to day and not trying to improve
Well,
the
I'm just
situation.
trying to coordinate our interbureaus as best I can. I'm trying to do a job that my supervisor, whoever it may be, and the people will be satisfied with our work. That's all I can do.
Well, you've been listening to Mr. Clyde L. Hap-Whitney, who is the regional coordinator of Interbureau Administration for the Northeast
Bob?
States and Indiana.
If I may be that
Yes.
familiar, I want to thank you before I go and your employers of this great network for making available to my office this free radio time.
Well, we'll look for you again within the next few weeks. This is the day we're going down to the sea in ships, wasn't it, for a wonderful bon voyage party?
With Captain somebody.
Yeah.
Captain Bartlett, was it?
I don't know who it was. Do we have the lines open over to Pier 29? Once again, we're down to the sea in ships, and today our touring microphone takes us to a pier on New York's west side, where we're speaking with the captain of a converted barge, I guess you'd call it.
Garbage
Captain.
scow.
Garbage scow. Now one of the foremost luxury liners working out of New York Harbor. How far out of the harbor do you go, Captain Bartlett?
We go clear out of the...
You don't go to Europe by that.
No. We stay pretty much close to shore.
Well, now, who ever in the world got the idea to convert a garbage scow into a luxury liner, and how is it done?
Well, I think it was a friend of mine over in New Jersey who had the idea originally.
Uh-huh.
And then I capitalized on it and got the old garbage scow for a song, cleaned it up.
Well, I should
And,
imagine it would have taken quite a bit of doing there.
Well, and we sprayed the whole joint with deodorant. And then, as a topper, my whole crew put a strong deodorant on the end of their nose so everything smells good.
Well, now, how about the passengers? Have they seemed happy with the...
We give them a little deodorant to put on the end of their nose when they come aboard.
I see. And you've made these sightseeing tours...
It's not sightseeing, really. Bob, we go right out down the North River here, through the Narrows. We go...
I notice the seagulls are hovering over the ship here.
Well, I remember the ship from the old days.
You say you go down through the Narrows?
Through the Narrows and then out along the Atlantic Ocean on the south side of Long Island, out around Montauk, and then come back. It is bad, isn't it?
I was
And then
trying
come
to
back.
figure whether that was the salt...
It's not salt air.
No,
you're
it
with them.
isn't.
No.
And then you come back. You're out from out. One of the crew there jumped overboard.
What are you doing, fella? Well,
I
he's
couldn't
getting
make
off
out
the
his
top,
words.
he said. Well, he's swimming back to shore. I can hardly blame him. As I say, this is a converted garbage scow, and we do have that problem.
Well,
I mean,
I can,
it's an aesthetic problem. It's a smell problem, to be
Yeah, I
frank
can-
with you. There goes another one.
another
Come
one.
on, Freddie. I didn't think he'd last.
How many
He looked
did
like
you-
a weakling when he signed the
How
boy.
many did you have in the crew to begin with?
Started off with 18 men, 18 deckhands. We had a matey, and
Now you have 60, or rather 15 now.
That's a deck bosun.
It is.
Sure it is. Now, he shouldn't do that.
He's a good
Now,
swimmer,
he's
though.
been a
He's
seafaring man for years.
getting away fast there.
He's not a good swimmer, is he? Oh, that's really too bad. I'd
You
throw him
have,
something. I'd throw him a grapefruit hat.
You have a crew of 15.
That's a joke on a garbage scow. Throw him a grapefruit hat.
Those
we got.
seagulls are still hovering overhead.
Yeah,
And I
well,
think
it's a little more around here than we thought.
while they're doing that, I think we better return it to the studio for some kind of business there. We've been down to the sea and ships today. Captain Bartlett, thank you for... Oh, the captain just dove overboard. That leaves us with somewhat of a problem on getting back. Howdy, everybody. How you doing, fight fans?
How you doing, Boston fans? The Bob and Ray Show here. We have a couple of midget boxes, and you don't get to see fellows like this often, particularly out where you live.
Midget wrestlers you see sometimes.
That's right. But out around our neighborhood, we have these quite regularly, and we've invited two of them up here to the studio today.
Gentlemen from the Nat weight class, aren't they?
That's right.
Yeah, would you two little fellows come over here? And there are two midget boxers.
Wilbur Conley, the young squirt who works for us, would you put those two little fellows up on the table for us here?
Well, I'll help this one. Boy, you are a little fellow.
Yes, I am.
You're both in the Nat weight class, and do you find it hard to find opponents?
Yes, there aren't many Nat weight fellows who like the box. So,
how much do you weigh, first of all?
30
pounds?
Pounds, yes.
And how about your sparring partner there?
He, I think, tips in about 28. Well,
so
it varies.
Off his fighting weight, huh?
He's gone up to 31. He's been down to 25.
He varies. I find I do that quite frequently, too.
Well, we here interview you. You're going to interview us.
Oh, no, we'll get back to you now. Where did you get the crown? What city were you in?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, you fought for the Nat weight crown just a week ago, didn't you?
Well, there's only the two of us, and the crown has changed hands several times.
Oh, you mean you haven't found anybody else to fight it?
Two of us. I mean, we fight each other all the time.
Oh.
Even when we're not fighting, we fight each other. I mean, like on a subway.
Just to kind of keep in trim.
He'll kick me in the shin, and then I'll let him have one. I'm not choppers.
I didn't think you'd get stepped all over on the subway.
You do, but you can cause a lot of damage when they don't spot you like that.
If it's real crowded, how do you get up to hang on to one of those straps there?
Well, I asked a nice lady to pick me up and hang me on one of the straps.
Huh? And then you just ride up. I suppose you could sit right in the strap there, couldn't you?
I've done that sometimes, but
like
that's dangerous because if they hit a curve, you're apt to land on somebody's hat.
Yeah, and I don't think that would be very good. Well,
I landed one time in a paper container full of coffee a fellow was drinking on the subway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what were you doing in my suit? It was an Italian silk suit.
What were you doing climbing into our engineer's breast pocket there just before the show? I know he was rummaging around in there for something.
Well, he asked me to look for a pencil.
Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly has been real pleasant talking to you and your sparring partner there. And where can we see you next? Where will you... What's on this card? You're going to be over at the Flea Circus in Times Square?
We're appearing there through Monday.
Exhibition match, huh?
That's right.
Thanks.
Oh, do you want us to run along?
What? I think you better, because we have...
well, get me down off the table.
There you are.
Say, I'm heavy.
Yeah. Careful of that ashtray. Don't step in that on your way. Now, will the two spellers come over here and sign in, please? You are Ms. Ruth Grepley, is that right?
Grepley.
From Chelsea, Massachusetts. And who's the gentleman here with you, your finalist contestant here?
Well, I don't know. He's from out in the west someplace. I think he's from out Oregon, Washington. I don't know. I better ask him.
Let me look at the card here.
Well, I'm from out there, yes.
Is that Harvey L. Updike?
Yeah.
I see on the card. Mr. Updike, Ms. Grepley, you know, of course, what this means. You have been brought here at our expense, having won the spelling championships of the West Coast and the East Coast, respectively. And what word did you win the West Coast championship on, Mr. Updike?
Oh, not funny. I can't think.
Machinery.
Machinery.
Thing as important as that.
All the others.
You would remember. And, Ms. Grepley, what was the word that you won the East Coast championship on, do you know?
Healthful.
Healthful? H-E-A-L-T-H-F-U-L?
Well, how do you spell that?
H-E-A-L-T-H-F-U-L. Healthful.
Hmm.
Well, you look askance. What's the matter?
Well, I'm afraid that I shouldn't be here. I didn't
Well, why is
spell
that?
it that way.
How do you spell it, then?
H-E-L-T-H.
Oh, that's wrong. They must have overlooked this.
F-U-L.
I don't know whether this...
Well, I'm sorry, but I...
Okay, then. You want to get up on the platforms. You, Mrs. Grepley, over there on that one, and you, Mr. Updike, on that one.
Well, as I say, I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing or not, Mr. Bob.
Well, we can declare a default if in the
Because
opinion of
I
the
don't
judge.
want to lose my amateur status, and I don't want to be...
All right, well, let's spin the big barrel and see just which word will go to which contestant. You spin the barrel, please, Al Schaefer. Barrel with its gay bells on it. Here we are with a word assigned to Miss Ruth Grepley of Chelsea, Massachusetts. You ready, Miss Grepley?
Yes.
Your word is healthful. Miss Grepley, you heard the word, did you?
I know, I'm thinking.
Well, let me remind you, this was the word that won your East Coast Championship. You should remember it, and certainly it's a coincidence despite the fact that... would you rather wait?
I think Could I wait?
Yes.
I'd love to wait.
All right, well, let's go to Mr. Updike then, shall we?
Okay.
And spin the barrel again, Al Schaefer. Certainly the most mixed up kind. Here's the word for Mr. Updike. Your word is machinery, sir.
Oh, machinery. Aye, that's the one.
That is the one you won.
The one I won with. Machinery. M-A-C-H-I-N-E-R-Y. Machinery.
You want to let it go at that? Leave it that way?
No, wait a minute. That isn't right, huh? Well,
I didn't say that, but I just wanted to be sure that was your definitive answer.
I don't have much confidence in myself when you say...
You want to try spelling it just once more, Mr. Updike?
Well, when you say you want to leave it that way, I get scared. Machinery. M-A-S-H, mash, E-E, N-A-R-Y.
I'm
machinery.
terribly sorry. That is wrong. And you go down on this round, Mr. Updike. It should have been spelled M-A-C-H-I-N-E-R-Y. And we'll be back with our next round in just a little while, so be sure and stay tuned. Back now at the Bob and Ray Grand National Spelling Bee and the finals, and we're ready with Miss Grepley. And do you want the same word or another word?
No, another
ma'am?
one, please.
All right. Here's the word for Ms. Ruth Grepley. It is health. You're kind of in a rut, Miss Grepley. I don't know how this has worked out this way.
Health. Could I wait and think?
No, you'll have to spell this one
Oh.
because you haven't spelled any word yet.
H-E-A-L
T.
T
H. H.
H.
H. H-E-A-L-T-H, and Miss Grepley is the winner.
Oh, wait.
And you're coming down off the
I've
platform.
been down off the platform for about 5 minutes. I'm going to...
Hi, Mr. Updike.
I'm going to hang a fat lip on you there,
You
Mr. Bob.
you have a beef of some kind?
You bet I do. You didn't help me, and I had it spelled right
I'm
in the
not
first
supposed
place.
to help any of the contestants.
But you
sir.
did. I
think you know
heard
that.
you helping that Miss Grepley there. Or whatever her name is.
Just with a couple of letters, but I
Well,
know
a
she
couple of
knows I'm
letters,
trying to
that's the
speed
whole
up.
thing.
I was only trying to speed up the program because we were lagging there for a bit, and we have time limitations, as you know. Miss Grepley, you're the winner. You
Thank
receive
you.
this beautiful silver loving cup, and, of course, your 1 week all-expense vacation in New York.
Oh,
Hope you have
that's
a wonderful
wonderful.
time.
And then what does the gentleman get?
Nothing. Very glad that you both were able to come. Thanks for being a good sport, Mr. Updike. And better luck next year, sir.
Well, I'm not going to enter your contest next year. No, sirree, Bob.